Mr. Google tells us that there's no cure for cellulite, but he's wrong. Cellulite is actually caused by a scientific condition called fascia. Watch here to learn the 4 different types of cellulite: hail damage, gummy bear, car wreck, and beyond bound. Which one are you? The first type of cellulite is what we call hail damage, okay? And so hail damage is like those little tiny dents that are all at the surface. And some people can be really, really thin and have this hail damage type of cellulite. It's very common, and just know that that means that your surface fascia is where there is an issue. That's why it is so visible. So when we're talking about any type of surface tissue, you'll want to use a surface tool, which is all of our small clawed tools. So we have the brush and blast coming out, the paddle blaster, the mini paddle flusher, the pro blaster, as well as the face blaster. So any of these tools is where you're going to want to start for the hail damage type of cellulite. The second type of cellulite is what we call car wreck. And this is actually what most people have. So this is where the dents go a little bit deeper. So instead of being right at the surface, we're talking about maybe some surface dents, but the ones that look like a car wreck, looked like somebody broadsided you and ended up making a dent in your leg. And so these are when the fascia has an adhesion down into the muscle. And we have to remember that our legs and the back of our legs and our glutes are all made of layers and layers of muscle. So how deep the dent is just depends on how deep the fascial adhesion is within the muscle. So to address car wreck cellulite, you're gonna want to do it little by little, layer by layer. You're not gonna get your tools and start going crazy. So the first thing that you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna want to address your surface tissue. So once you've used your small claw tools and everything starts to be loosening up and those little dents at the surface are going away, then we're gonna need to call in the big guns, the big claw tools. So we have lots to choose from. We have the mini one, which is just really easy to get the lower leg, inner thigh, on the backside of the glute. We have the mini 2, which is kind of everyone's favorite for like your IT band area. Again, great for inner thigh, really easy to go over the glutes with the mini 2. We also have the OG original fascia blaster, which is always amazing for leverage on the legs. And then our newest big claw tool is the Savage Blaster. And anything that has a big claw is gonna go all the way down into the myofascial tissue, right? So myo means muscle, fascia obviously means fascia. So we're gonna need something big and deep that can go in and actually really break through the damage in the fascia that's inside the muscles. Anytime that you have really dysfunctional or stubborn tissue, you're gonna wanna have your nugget tips. We have the actual fascia blaster nugget independent, or you can get these tips on the mini 2 as well as the mini 1. And what you're gonna do with this tool is actually poke down inside to the muscle as far as you can penetrate. It's like surgery from the outside. And then you can scrape through those adhesions. All right, so the third type of cellulite is gummy bear, okay? And the reason we call it gummy bear is if you can grab your legs and they just feel kind of chunky and chewy and are really lacking that muscle definition, that is gummy bear. And we actually would treat gummy bear different than we treat all of the other situations. So it's really important to be able to do these self-tests and see. Reach down, grab your legs and squeeze them tight. And if you have a lot of muscle tone, then it's a different type of cellulite. It'd probably be car wreck. But if you reach down and you grab and everything just kind of feels mushy like a gummy bear, and the cellulite is kind of mushy and gummy, you're gummy bear. So you're gonna start with your small claw tools to address the surface tissue, working it layer by layer. And then once you've done the small claw tools, we're gonna wanna dig deep down inside the muscle fibers. So that's when you're gonna need a big claw tool. And then at the very end, if there's anything left, you can use that nugget. But the one thing I will say is all the while that you're doing the gummy bear, contract, contract, contract. Do some type of resistance training or isometric training so that as you're opening the fascia, you will have nice muscle tone underneath. All right, so the fourth and kind of most evil type of cellulite is beyond bound. So these people typically do not have like a bunch of dense and dimple, maybe just like a little bit of waving texture to the skin. These are usually people too that train really hard, because to be honest with you, in terms of running, banging, open chain exercises like CrossFit and things like that, I'm not saying don't do it. What I'm saying is that those types of things cause the fascia to get tight all over. So you have to remember that we have layers of fascia on the outside, and then there's the interstructural fascia in the muscles. So when you're beyond bound, it's basically just choked, right? So what's happening is it's like this shirt, but like squeezing down on me. So typically people who have beyond bound cellulite, they would say things like, I just can't get definition in my legs. The fascia needs to be loose so that it can lay within our beautiful tone and definition that we're creating with all of that exercise. Beyond bound, you really have to start slow and easy, and you want to go from the surface tissue way later, month 2, 3, 4, deep tissue with the bigger claw tools, and then you'll clean everything up with the nugget. When you're beyond bound, you have to remember that the blood and the nerves are running through the fascia. So in terms of getting the definition that we crave so much, we have to have proper blood flow, and we have to have proper neurological activity to do that. Your blood is your pump, your nervous is your biomechanic, and if we can't get the muscle to fire and we can't get pumped, then we're not gonna get definition. And that's where you can see a very quick result by blasting, because you're opening up the blood and you're opening up the neural pathways, and you get that definition that you've been working so hard for.